there. All right, so we're going to do our music, boys and girls. Remember that you're going to stay right at your chairs, and we're not going to touch our friends, right? Because we don't want to share drums. So stay right there at your chairs.
You are here.
word provision. It's kind of a big word, but it means that God provides. Okay? He takes care of us. He gives us what we need. That's what provision is. Okay? And so I like the way maker, right? Because God makes a way. He provides a way. So he is a way maker. But he's also a good father. And don't you know that if you have a mom and dad, or a grandmother, or a grandfather, or an aunt and uncle, and all those people in your life that love you, they give things to you, right? They help you. They provide things for you, just like our good Father does. And so I love that those two songs tie into our new promise that we're going to talk about, which is the P word of provision. Everybody say provision. Yeah, okay, that's kind of a big word. Philippians 4:19. I say this almost every time I do a Bible verse, but I'm going to tell you again. This is one of my favorite Bible verses. And it says, my God. My God. I love that part. Because it means that he belongs to us and we belong to him. Okay? My God will supply all your needs. He's going to take care of everything, boys and girls. He's going to take care of everything. My God will supply all of your needs according to his glories. Because of who? Who's that one person that's so important? Jesus Christ. That's right. Okay. So this whole month, we're going to talk about provision and how God provides for us. Okay? So, we're going to have some speakers come up here and talk, some teachers and some staff. It is going to be your job, boys and girls. Show me how you're going to listen. Show me. Show me how you're going to listen. You don't have to put your hands in the air because your hands are going to get really tired if you have your hands in the air the whole time. But your bodies are going to be still. Okay, you're not going to be talking to your friends. You're going to be looking and listening, okay? All right, so our first one, we have a very special guest. I'm excited about this one. Dr. Kavanaugh is going to come up. Everybody say, hello, Dr. Kavanaugh.
Hey guys, I am so excited to talk to you. The only hard part, as Ms. Marshburn said, I only had 2 minutes, so I might have to take 3 or 4 minutes. I had to borrow some money from the vending machine to use as an example, and I want to ask Ms. Marshburn to stand right up here with me for just a second. And anytime I say the word provide or provision, she's going to throw money at me, okay, the whole bag. She's going to hit me with the bag. Is that cool? That is cool. So, I'm going to tell you, the Lord provides a lot of things for us. Listen, sometimes he provides safety in our home, and our clothes, and our protection, opportunities, and love, and all of those things. And he has provided all of those things for me. But today I want to talk to you how the Lord provided this school, this building that you're in, and the money to pay for the chairs that you're sitting in, and the carpet that we walk on, and the walls that we have in our classrooms. Those did not come from Dr. Kavanaugh. Those came straight from the Lord. I'm going to tell you that story really quickly. So 8 years ago, how many of you guys are about 8 years old? And they're second graders. Yes. So right when you were born, or around the time that you were born, you know, the Lord spoke to me and said, Cheryl, I want you to open a school. And I said, no way. There's no way that I could do that. And every single day, he said to me, you need to open a school. I went to sleep, and all I could think about was opening Liberty Christian Academy. All day long, all I could hear was, we have to open Liberty Christian Academy. And you know what I told the Lord? I said, yes, sir, I'll be glad to do that. But how in the world am I going to find a building to start our school in? How am I going to find a schoolhouse? How am I going to find the school buses? How am I going to find the teachers or the carpet or in every single thing that we have here? And you know, my favorite Bible verse is Matthew 6:33 that says, if we seek the Lord, everything that you need, he's going to give to us. but we have to seek him first. What does it mean when you play hide and seek with someone? What does the word seek mean? Find them, right? So if we're constantly looking for Christ and we're wanting to find him and we're searching for him and we're reading our word and we're praying and we're doing what's right, he says all the things that you're going to need are going to come. And he says, don't worry about that. So I saw this building, and this building was a car dealership. Did you know that? It was a car dealership. It's where your parents would come and buy a truck or a car. It wasn't a school. It was a car dealership. And the Lord told my heart, that's the building. And I said, but how am I going to have money to pay for that? Dr. Kavanaugh did not have a bag of money to pay for the school. She didn't. And the Lord said, you do your part and I will provide. So what was he going to do? He was going to give me one bag of money? He was going to provide. So I said, yes, sir, I believe you. I have faith. So I started talking to the guy who owned the dealership. And I said, I don't know how I'm going to pay you. I don't have a bag of money, but I believe the Lord is going to. And you know, every single time that I took that step of faith, and I believed that the Lord was going to provide my needs, every single time. Did you know that the money was there somehow, and it wasn't that something that Dr. Kavanaugh had? You know, one week I got a check in the mail for $7,000 for an overpayment of insurance from like 5 years before that I wasn't expecting. And did you know that week, that was the week that I needed $7,000 to help finish paying for the heat and air in this building? So every time that I was worried about, how are you going to provide? How are you going? Yes, he would give me one bag of money. Not literally, but he always provided. See if she can catch me. He always provided everything that I needed because I believed him. And did you know this? 8 years later, because our school is 8 years old, it's the same age as our second graders. 8 years later, the Lord is still providing. Like right now, he's still providing, right? So the Lord is still providing. We're building a gym. We're growing. You still have carpet and chairs to sit on. And that's not because Dr. Kavanaugh had a bag of money. That was because I was just a person that was willing to say yes to Jesus. And he provided week by week, and he's still providing week by week. So he's still providing. So listen, and I know I've gone over my 2 minutes. Listen very carefully. The reason that I knew the Lord was going to provide, because since I was your age, I spent my life putting Christ first. I spent my life seeking God. God, what do you want me to do here? What do you want me to do there? How do you want me to act? How do you want me to speak? Where do you want me to move? Every single thing that I did in my life, I sought God first. And I put God first. And every single time that I do that, he always provides for me.
Been to Disney World, or know where Disney World is, right? Yeah. So I am from Florida, which is where Disney World is, right? Florida is the home of all theme parks, right? All right, let's catch a bubble. And my husband, he had a job that brought him to Jacksonville, North Carolina. So I had to leave all my family, so my mom, my dad, siblings, my brothers, my cousins, my uncles. I had to leave all of them behind and come to North Carolina. And I didn't know anybody. I didn't have friends. I didn't have my family. I didn't have a job. I had nothing. And so just like Dr. Kavanaugh said, I had to seek God, right? We have to trust that no matter what season of life God throws at us, that he's going to provide for us, right? So every day I wake up pray, have my quiet time with God, and ask God, God, give me something, give me a purpose, provide for me, right? And so sure enough, I started working here. I got friends. You guys are my family, right? I love you guys. I come here every day. I see smiling faces and the happiness of coming to school here. I have friends with my teacher friends. And God has really provided, right? He's provided with friendships. He's provided with a job. And He's just provided in every single part of my life. Even when I had to leave my family, leave my friends behind, trusting that God's going to provide and supply all our needs. And guess what? He does. He does just that. So when you're going through a season in your life and you're wondering, is God going to provide for me? Is He going to be there? Take a minute to stop and pray and think and seek God, right? To supply all your needs. And I promise you, God's going to show up and show out in your life. All right?
Hi, boys and girls. Okay, so I'm Miss Phillips. I teach in kindergarten. I think most of you know who I am. So, before I was a teacher here, when my son Noah, he's a big kid now, when he was little, I taught at a different school, and Miss Kavanaugh, I don't think she really knew who I was, but I knew who she was, and I kept hearing about this school named Liberty. And I prayed for God to help me and my son Noah. See, we had some sad things happen in our life, and sometimes that happens. And God provided for us in a lot of different ways. When you're in your house and you go to your bedroom, raise your hand if you have a nice comfy bed. Nice blankets. Good, okay, you can put your hands down. What about when you go into the kitchen and you open up your refrigerator? If you have something good in there to eat, raise your hand. Good, you can put them down. We don't really want for those kinds of things, do we? We have everything we need. Now, there are things that we want that we don't really need, but all those things that we need, we have. Well, like I said, when my Noah was little, and we had some kind of hard times, there were some things we didn't really have. Now, we had food, we had comfy beds, but there were some other things that we didn't really have. And boys and girls, sometimes I would pray for those things, and we would get them from places that I never thought. Boys and girls, I want to be honest, I have prayed for milk. One time I prayed for milk, and do you know I got a gallon of milk from someone? Pretty amazing. So anyways, back to praying about Liberty. I kept hearing about this school named Liberty, and I thought, what is that place? Who is this Miss Kavanaugh I've heard about that's praying for a school? And boys and girls, I've only been here 6 years, but I have seen God provide here at LCA so many things. And you know what He provided for me? A school, a place where I could come and be a teacher. And He gave to me a lot of you. So you guys were provided for me as students, and I as your teacher. And I think we've had some pretty good times. If you've been in my class, raise your hand. Woo, that makes Ms. Phillips kind of tear up a little bit. So I want to tell you about something, one little thing that a friend of mine reminded me about this morning. You can put your hands down. Sometimes we talk about the big things that God provides. We've been talking about Moses in our class and how God provided a way out of Egypt. God opened that Red Sea and they walked across on dry land. God has provided so many big things, but sometimes we don't think about the little things that He provides. So when I was your age, I went to a Christian school, and we used to watch these cool animated videos of Bible stories. Now, maybe you've watched some in your class sometimes. Teachers admit it. We pop on a movie sometimes. We like to watch them just like the kids do, at least I do. Well, anyways, when I was your age, we used to watch them in my class. And so, all these years, because I'm a lot older than you, all these years I've always wanted to have a set of those movies. And boys and girls, I hadn't really thought about it in a long time. I had looked them up online, and they're kind of expensive. So I had never bought them. Well, one morning, not too long ago, boys and girls, I walked into my classroom, and the whole set of them was in a box in my classroom. Now, nobody in here knew that I had ever prayed for a set of those movies. Only God knew. But boys and girls, He put them in my classroom. He used a special teacher friend who, she didn't know I wanted them. She didn't even really know she had them until she found them. And she put them in my classroom. She could have picked any one of these teachers, but she put them in my classroom. Boys and girls, sometimes God gives us a special gift just to let us know that He's listening. He hears us about the big things that we want, but sometimes He hears us about the little silly things too. You don't care if I have movies, but I really wanted them. God hears those little things that we want, those little things that we pray for. Now we might not always get them, or we might have to wait like 30 years. I know, I'm telling you. But He hears us, boys and girls. Never forget that He hears all those things that you pray for. All right, Miss Mary?
All right, boys and girls, we have a special video that we're going to watch, and then you will be dismissed from chapel.
Hey guys, it is so good to see you. I have missed you all so much. I thank you for all your prayers that you have been praying for Cameron, and I know God is hearing each and every one of them. It is so good that Cameron is out of the hospital and that he is recovering here in Chapel Hill, and that is because God has heard your prayers, and I know that He is thankful for them, but I am his mama, and I am thankful for all of the prayers that you have prayed for Cameron and for me and for our family. Miss Marshburn asked me to talk about a time when God has provided for us, and I could sit here all day and just tell you all of the amazing ways God has provided for our family, for me personally, for Cameron, for LCA, but I want to tell you one specific time that He has provided for us over the past 6 months. Raise your hand if you have had a doctor visit or doctor checkup where you go just for a checkup. Maybe once a year, maybe around your birthday, you might go and maybe get a shot. Well, Cameron was having checkups just because he's had cancer before, and so he would go, they would look at him, they would make sure that his heart was beating fine and his breathing was okay, and that everything in his blood that was running through his blood was still very healthy. Everything has been great. So we finished his first cancer in 2018. That was 2 years ago. And so he was just going to the doctor for checkups. Everything was fine. He'd go back a month or two later. Everything would be fine. Well, in May, if y'all remember, we were at home for the COVID pandemic, and he had a checkup, just a plain old checkup. Remember, everything has always been just fine at the checkups. So when we went to the checkup on May 4th, they listened to his heart, they listened to his breathing, they checked his legs and his arms and all of his body parts to make sure that he was still good and healthy. And they checked his blood to see if everything was still good there. Guess what? You know, it wasn't. So it was that day that I thank God for. You know why? That sounds silly, doesn't it? That I would thank God that we found out that he had cancer again. You know why I thank God? Because we went to the doctor on the perfect day at the perfect time, and he found it before Cameron ever had to feel sick. He didn't ever have anything that said, I wonder if my cancer is back. The doctor found it first, and it was all because God has a perfect plan for each of our lives, and he planned that on May 4th, 2020, he would go for a regular checkup, and the regular doctor would find what he needed to find. And so I'm thankful for how God provides for us in those little unexpected ways that we might not maybe think he's looking out for us, but he was looking out for us big time that day. Thank you all for your prayers. I miss you so much. I wish I could be there with you, and I will see you soon.
Oh, how sweet was that video? We missed Miss Jock. Okay, so this month is provision, how God provides. So think about that today, boys and girls, how God has supplied your needs and how he has taken care of you. And boys and girls, at this time, you need to turn your ears on and listen to your teachers and how you're going to be dismissed from chapel. All right, you are dismissed. You have a fabulous Fun Day Friday. Love you all.